Everyone, thank you for joining us for today's presentation. Today's webcast is to learn why certification in corporate wellness is important. This webcast will educate you on what you can do proactively to help your employer or employee gain a better understanding on the benefits of corporate wellness. Statistics validate that motivating employees to live a healthier lifestyle can reduce the cost of health insurance, decrease absenteeism, and increase employee productivity, which are important factors to your employer. You, the Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, will be fully educated to inform your clients just what's best for the company by delivering quality service and valuable corporate wellness content. Today's webcast will also provide detailed information necessary for you to take your career to the next level. According to a recent study, nearly half of U.S. employers currently offer employee wellness programs. This growth has driven the wellness industry into a $6 billion commerce. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our Director of the Corporate Health and Wellness Association and Editor-in-Chief of the Corporate Wellness magazine, Mr. Jonathan Elderheit.
Thank you, Shay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our CCWS webinar, the Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist. We'll be covering a little bit about what the CCWS program is, some of the benefits, and why you should go through the program. I know we've got a lot of people who are interested in becoming students here, and we also have some people who have already gone through our program and become certified just to learn about updates and some other things. The CCWS certification is brought to you by the Corporate Health and Wellness Association, which is the first and only nonprofit trade association dedicated to employee wellness that's made up of employers, and it's for employers, meaning it's for employers helping share best practices and case studies. Employers run the association and they drive all the actions and initiatives of it. There's over 100 large employers that are active members representing millions of lives. And with that, we have a much larger outreach of about 500,000 HR and insurance professionals around the country through our magazine, through our social media channels, and other marketing initiatives. And our mission is to really get employees engaged and get them healthy. And the key word is being engaged, which is one of the biggest challenges employers are facing today. So one of the obvious benefits and the biggest benefits of becoming a certified corporate wellness specialist is standing out from the crowd. And that is that there's a lot of people out there that are getting involved in corporate wellness. There are a lot of people that say they're experts in corporate wellness. So how do you set yourself apart? How do you show you're a leader? How do you show you've had advanced education? And that all comes from becoming certified. Certification is an actual designation. It's not a certificate course where you're just getting a certificate for completing education. It's an actual designation where you actually go through a course, you take an exam, and then once you pass, you get your diploma and then your designation and seal, which you're able to use. So I think it's really important to understand it's a certification program, not a certificate course. Certificate courses are really where you could sit through a 1 to 2 hour class, sleep through it, not pay attention, and everyone is awarded the certificate. So for a certification, you have to show you meet certain standards and you have knowledge and education, and it's been tested through that program. So some of the facts about the CCWS program. The program has been created by employers for employers. So the same exact theme as the Corporate Health and Wellness Association. It's employers are the instructors. They're the ones that have created the course. We spent several years developing this program with employers, doing a lot of research, a lot of best practices. And that was the most important part of developing this course. You're learning through real-life case studies and best practices, and it's facts. It's not theories or anything like that. You learn to apply best practices, and one of the other biggest advantages of it is access to the most updated case studies in the country. So one of the challenges in corporate wellness is there are literally thousands of vendors out there offering corporate wellness. There could be tens of thousands in our country, in the United States alone, and they're offering all different types of corporate wellness programs. And the biggest challenge employers have is, how do you determine if a corporate wellness program works? What vendor do you use? How do you measure ROI? And which vendor and which program do you implement, and when do you implement it, and how do you engage your employees? We've seen out there in the industry that some big employer associations out there and coalitions, they're actually just a couple months ago, were citing corporate wellness case studies from a decade ago, literally 10 years ago, where that case study is totally irrelevant and it's totally outdated now. So we work all year round to bring current case studies that we deliver through our online learning management system, through live webcast, and at our conference, so you're constantly getting updates on programs and what employers are actually doing. And then the people that we are presenting are the employers. It's not a vendor, it's not a consultant, it's the employers actually doing it, so you're able to get really unbiased information. So this is an example of once you get your certification, how to brand yourself, putting the certification seal on your business card, like Mr. John Doe has done here in the bottom right, adding it to your LinkedIn profile, where if you search in LinkedIn for Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, you'll find some of our students. One of the things that we work hard on all year long is to market those students that have graduated and gotten the certification as a corporate wellness specialist. So on our Corporate Wellness Magazine website, which is the only website and magazine dedicated to corporate wellness in the industry, we list all our students that have graduated and where they've graduated. And so employers, consultants, and others who are looking for a specialist in corporate wellness can go online, look in a state, look in a city, pull up who's certified there, and then through the system privately reach out and contact. So it's the ability to allows us to help market our certified students and allows them to connect with others who really need their specialized services. This is the diploma, the framed diploma that you get once you pass the program that you can put up on your wall. So, employers are really looking for employees who have expertise in corporate wellness. And I think it becomes even more important today because we're saying before of how many corporate wellness vendors there are out there, how many actual types of wellness programs you can implement, and the difficulty in doing it right, engaging the employees and getting ROI. So having the CCWS designation and seal really identifies to the employers what level of knowledge that you have, what programs you've learned, that you're up to date on case studies, and that you have a comprehensive understanding of corporate wellness. So, and it also shows that you've really invested in yourself and that, this is your career. So anyone can say they're an expert. For example, in this picture, in this slide, the reason I wanted to show it is, there could be 500 applicants, could be 100 applicants, it could be 1,000 applicants applying for a job at an employer or at an agency or consulting firm in corporate wellness. How do you set yourself apart? What is going to stop that person who's reviewing the executive, who's reviewing the resumes, to determine whether you're qualified and they're going to bring you in? And that certification in corporate wellness is the one thing that's going to set you apart from all those other applicants. And it does make a difference. And it's the same example of if you're driving your car down the street and it breaks down and you're at an intersection and you have two different gas stations that you can go to a mechanic for to fix your car, and one says certified mechanic and the other one does not say certified mechanic, where are you going to go? You're going to go to the certified one. So, and in today's world, it's all about setting yourself apart. It's all showing that you're different, and it's becoming a very competitive world, and everyone is super busy, meaning that the people looking to hire at companies, they're dealing with everything else in their normal job function. So you only have a couple seconds in your resume to set yourself apart. Job placement assistance. The Corporate Health and Wellness Association has launched at the end of this year and for 2014. We're going to start doing job placement assistance, where we're going to start helping market our students who've gone through certification to help them find employment if they request it and if they need it. So we're going to do that in a couple ways. We reach about 500,000 insurance and HR professionals here in the U.S. through our magazine, through our database, through our social media channels, from LinkedIn to Facebook. And we're going to start promoting those students who have gone through our certification program who are looking for employment. So we're going to help you find corporate wellness jobs. We just launched the first website in the country dedicated to corporate wellness jobs. And we're going to market our students through our social media channels who are looking for employment. We also, this Corporate Health and Wellness Association, if you're in our database now or you're a member of our LinkedIn group, you will see that employers are contacting CHWA to find qualified employees that they could hire in corporate wellness. So we've sent out several announcements for large organizations hiring people to run their wellness programs. So what makes up the CCWS designation? It's a professional designation that has 12 core modules of education, and you can get up to 12 hours of SPHR credit. So who is our faculty? And this is what makes our program so unique. And our faculty are so some of our instructors, for example, the people who run wellness for LinkedIn, Hallmark, Racetrack, Petco, Wawa, University of Michigan, Cleveland Clinic, LL Bean. So they are the leaders, and they have long-term experience of implementing wellness programs and what works and what doesn't. And it's always, our tagline for our certification is comprehensive, current, and live. It's always comprehensive, and we always are constantly updating our course. It's not something that, was recorded, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and you're watching the same content. Our course is actually being updated this week. So it's going to be, just literally a couple weeks, brand new. We also are doing group live training. So if your organization, has 5 or 10 or more employees that you'd like to get certified, it's a great tool to build, membership and specialization within your organization. We can get SPHR or for employers and HR professionals. We can get CE approval for agents. And this is a picture of one of the group live training. We've done them all over the country. Starting this past year, this is one example, doing them from groups of 5 to 10, but sometimes groups of 50 to 250. This is a screenshot of our learning management system. So you have 2 options and ways to get the certification. You can do it online, live at your own pace, based upon what your schedule is, or you can do it live at our conference. So online, you simply go to corporatewellnesscertification.com. You log in. The screen's a little bit small here, so it's a little bit hard to see. But you can choose your different modules, and you watch them at your own pace. And at the end, you choose the exam, and you take the exam. And once you pass the exam, you automatically get emailed your certification, and you can fill out your diploma for it to be mailed to you. So this is an example of another screenshot of the learning management system where you're watching, 2 of our instructors present, and you have the PowerPoint there, and you have the video on the right where you're watching them actually speak and instruct you. So it's very interactive, and you could actually expand the video so it really becomes full screen if you'd like to watch that versus the PowerPoint. So to give you some examples, I always think it's important to get to share feedback from some of our students who have graduated our certification program in corporate wellness. It's important to see the experience others have gone through. So John Howard, who's a CCWS graduate, said, "I enjoyed the certification process. I thought it was extremely relevant, challenging, and insightful. I plan on staying very involved in the association." Sheila Armstrong said, "I really believe it's important to be certified just to add to your credentials whenever you are going to companies to talk about wellness. It's really great to have certification under your name." Also, as we're going through this, as we go through it, feel free to type in questions that you might have. And as we go along, I'm sure Shay will answer some of the questions, and then we can compile some of the questions to ask at the very end. So what are the core competencies of the course? Core competencies: obtaining management support. I think it's really important. Management not only supporting your wellness program, but the C-suite basically supporting and buying into it. Creating and maintaining wellness committees, wellness program design, creating budgets, incentives, health risk assessments, biometrics, environment and benefits, legal issues, return on investment, and then obviously healthcare reform in the ACA. Here I'm going to go through some of the modules. Module 1 is Corporate Wellness 101. I won't go into the total description of what each course is about. This PowerPoint and the webcast will be available afterwards to go into description, and we also have a brochure on it. So Corporate Wellness 101, the basics. We have Beyond Zero Trends. We have Pearls of Wisdom, making sure senior leadership actually walk the talk, which is very important. One size fits all. One size does not fit all. Understanding the unique needs of your employee population, and this is a case study from Racetrack Petroleum. And this is really important because you need to understand that you cannot just, wellness is not a cookie cutter program. Every single employer will have to be approached uniquely. If you have blue collar workers, they're going to be approached differently than white collar workers. If you have workers that they don't have computers or laptops, they just use cell phones, you're going to have to communicate with them and engage them in different ways, and you're going to have to provide different incentives because different things will motivate them. Module 5 is how Hallmark and Petco Animal Supplies have navigated wellness communication to achieve maximum employee engagement. Module 6, the only proven solution to rising healthcare costs, creating cultures of health. We have Module 7, which is Work Affects Health or Health Affects Work, why business must consider both. Module 8, Employee Health and Wellness results from an incentivized and outcome-based integrated system. Module 9 is how LL Bean is tracking outcomes, overcoming their ROI struggle. Module 10 is turning the incentive debate upside down into driving behavior change without a carrot or a stick. We've got Module 11, which is healthcare reforms, endorsement, and expansion of wellness incentives. And then we have Module 12, which is Wellness Works, but beware of legal landmines. I think that one is really important because there's a lot of potential fines that you can have if you violate HIPAA, if you violate GINA, and we've done a lot of role-playing scenarios at our conference and on online webcasts, putting forth different scenarios, and it could be very basic things, like you're doing a mudding competition, or you're doing The Biggest Loser, and different minor things that you do in that program can determine that you've actually violated the law and you could be fined. So it's extremely important to be aware of what you need to do legally, what to do, what not to do. And while healthcare reform really expands wellness and supports wellness, the one thing that most people don't know who are out there in the industry is that healthcare reform law is not fully funded. And the HHS's strategy, Health and Human Services, is to fund healthcare reform through fines. And it's very serious. So they're going to be funding it through fines through ERISA, through other laws, and also through HIPAA. So, for example, there's a lot of violations of HIPAA laws going on right now, and there's a standard fine for large corporations that the HHS is hitting employers with. And when I ask people, what do you think that fine is, I get all varying answers, from I don't know to 10 to 20,000. It's $1 million. And it's happening quite often, and they've hired HHS and other divisions of the government have hired more investigators and auditors, and they're going to get much more aggressive because it's the only way to fund the law. This is directly feedback and from some of our instructors, from some of the top national law firms that are working and dealing with the HHS, the DOL, and the IRS on an ongoing basis, and this is what's going to come in the future. So it's very important to really understand the legal issues. Continuing education, once you get your designation, that's not when your learning stops. And then it's not, I know everything about corporate wellness and now it's over. There is required continuing education that you need to do every year. So you've got to go through 5 hours of CE credit every single year, and that's to make sure that you're staying on top of the most updated case studies and also any changes in rules, regulations, and the law and best practices. So every year we'll provide you with 5 hours of CE credits, and you can either do them online through our learning management system or at our annual conference. And that's really important, and I think that's one thing that really sets apart our certification, because it's important that you're always staying on best practices, and we don't want anyone to have our designation or certification that is not staying current and they're living in the past, because things change on a constant basis in corporate wellness, and you need to really figure out what new tools are out there, new ways to measure ROI, new ways to measure engagement, and cutting-edge things employers are doing that are really bucking the trends and working. So one thing part of our course is our book, Engaging Wellness, Corporate Wellness Programs at Work. It took us about a year and a half to put this book together. It was launched last year, and we just released our second edition this November, last month. The book is $80 if you buy it in print, or it's $35 if you get it as an ebook on like Amazon Kindle or on iTunes. It's 584 pages. We had 50 of the leading experts in the corporate wellness industry contribute to this book. And so it is a comprehensive textbook. So you've got your 12 modules of online video learning that is about 70% of your exam. And then you've got the corporate wellness book, Engaging Wellness, that is about 30%. And this covers everything else. And together it's about a 40-hour course combining the book and the online videos. And I think the book is very important because it covers, if you look at the table of contents, it has a wide girth of everything it covers, from, using social media and gaming to case studies. So we also have a lot of employer case studies in this corporate wellness book, and, every year we'll be updating it with additional corporate wellness studies. And any updates when it comes to any new rules, regulations, or laws, or even changes in the healthcare reform law. The CCWS certification is $995, whether you get it online or you get it at our annual conference. We also have, we had some high demand last year of some of our students going through certification that really wanted to show off their certification. So, we actually developed a sports jacket, whether you're golfing, outdoor running. This is Miguel from one of our certification coordinators, who is our model today in it. We also have some coffee mugs and some pins, and we gave out our pins at our conference this past November last month in Las Vegas. We gave out the pins to all our students complimentary, but you can also get the CCWS pins online. So with that, you can go to our website, corporatewellnesscertification.com, to learn more about getting certified, or you can call Shay, who introduced their call and is our corporate wellness coordinator, at 561-790-1176. Or you can email us at info@wellnessassociation.com. I think we're going to see a really growing trend in the new year of employers implementing wellness. And even more importantly, there's a majority of employers have implemented wellness, but now they have to perfect it. And now they have to look at, how do I change my programs? What are programs that I'm doing now that are not working? How do I tweak them? What are new vendors that I might want to bring in? And how do I lower my costs? Because healthcare costs are continuing to increase. The ACA has actually increased costs, and we've already started to see some significant rate increases in the group market, but definitely in the exchanges. There are some state exchanges where costs have gone down, but there's a lot of, almost seems like a majority of exchanges, costs have gone up significantly. We've seen people's rates increase 2-3 times in the individual market. And the mandate was delayed for the employer fine until 2015, and now we've got the measurement period coming up in about 2 weeks. So employers are really going to be locked into how they categorize employees as part-time, hourly, or 1099, and they're going to be stuck with that for the January 1st, 2015 renewal. So as these rate increases, the pre-existing condition clause goes away, guarantee issue rates are going to go up, continue to go up. And so employers are going to be looking at what are the different ways to lower costs. And we know high deductible plans haven't worked. We know the consumer-driven plans haven't worked. Really, there's corporate wellness. And it's a program that takes a lot of expertise. It can take several years to start being able to measure ROI. And that really all depends on your success, on what vendor you use, what consultant you use, and what programs you've implemented and how you're engaging your employees. So I see starting in this coming year and also in 15, a tremendous reliance on employers on looking at how they perfect their programs and who they bring in with expertise who can help really drive engagement. And so I really encourage you to really become certified as a corporate wellness specialist. and to really advance your career and stay on top of everything. And I also invite you to get your certification at our conference, which this year will be September 20th through the 24th in Washington, D.C. This past year we had some of the key leadership from the Obama administration who came to keynote at our conference, from the HHS, the person in charge of exchanges, the Department of Labor, the person at the IRS in charge of all fines, compliance, and mandates. This is a place where you're getting a lot of live interaction and you're able to interact with the speakers. We've had thousands of people go through our certification program. And I think more importantly, when you do it kind of in a group setting, you also get to collaborate and discuss things amongst your peers and work through issues. But definitely, for those of you that really want to advance your career now, you could go online today and sign up today. With that, I'd like to turn it over to questions. So if anybody would like to ask any questions, we can kind of go through that now. We have one question from Mark that says, if we want to buy the hard copy of the book without doing the full certification for now, can we do that online? Yes, you can go onto Amazon and you can buy the book in print, or you can buy the ebook. You do not need to go through the certification to have the book, and I definitely recommend you read the book. I think there's really great case studies in there and really best practices. Next question that came in that said, how does this certification compare to other programs out there, wellness certifications? I think it's different in several ways, and I'm a big believer that any certification is good. This certification is the most comprehensive. There are other certifications that are good, but this is it's a much more comprehensive course. It covers a tremendous amount more content. We have a lot of modules, and then we've got our textbook that goes with it. There is no other course that has the content and the breadth of content and the depth of content of what we go into. The other things that sets this certification apart significantly is that it's comprehensive and it's current and it's live, which means it's constantly updated, where other certification programs out there, they're very out of date. They actually could have been created years ago, and they're using the same content. And then our certification is the only one in the country that has the most current case studies. And one thing we're really excited about, which we're going to be launching in a couple weeks, is a resource center. It's a corporate wellness resource center. It'll be the first in the country and in the world, and we're going to have hundreds of resources right away, and up to 1,000 or 2,014 for people who go through a certification. And it's going to be policies, it's going to be forms, it's going to be videos, PowerPoints, case studies. We've been compiling a lot of information from employers who want to share their best practices and policies in wellness. And we've been developing over the past 24 months this very sophisticated online system. And so everyone will get access to that program. Also, ours is an actual designation, and that's very different because in order to be a true certification program, not a certificate, there has to be a accrediting body and an administering body. So we follow international guidelines for certification. We're the only ones that actually do that in the area of corporate wellness. You get the seal and the designation to put on your business cards, your social media, and we actually market those people who went through certification. We do it through our magazine, and then I think one of the biggest differentiating factors is that we have the largest reach and audience out there, meaning that if you combine everyone who might be doing something in the area of certification or even training in corporate wellness, that it is just a tiny fraction of our reach. We reach 500,000 HR and insurance professionals here, and we reach even more outside the United States. And then, for example, we run one of the largest corporate wellness groups on LinkedIn with about 13,000 people. We have our Facebook page with several thousand. So we have a lot of different communication channels to get the message out and help brand yourself. So we have another question coming in from Alexandra. She says, I'm trying to transition my career into corporate wellness, and I'm considering getting certified as a corporate wellness specialist, but was wondering if you had any recommendations as how to get hands-on experience. I think one of the ways to get hands-on experience is to do an internship. Unfortunately, in today's environment, there's a very good chance it might be an unpaid membership, internship. So I would recommend calling on some middle-sized and larger-sized employers, ones that might have more than 100 employees in your where you live, and ask if they're doing anything in corporate wellness, and tell them you would like to volunteer to be an intern in corporate wellness with their organization. And I think that is a great way to get experience. We're going to start developing a program internally here at the Corporate Health and Wellness Association to help facilitate these type of internships and start finding employers in different locations and take our students, and that once they graduate, place our students in an internship with an employer in their city. So this is something we're going to be very aggressive with, and we're going to work on putting together, is to really help them, because I know, like at our company, we do internships, and we actually look to hire and give preferred preference to those people going through our internship, because when their internship is completed, they really understand your organization, they understand everything that you're doing, and they have more expertise, and their work ethic, and the kind of work they can produce and their potential. And so that's why we're really trying to develop this internship program for our students going through our certification, because we know this will be a key aspect, not only for them getting hands-on experience, but for them getting placed in a future position. So another question that came up was, how often do you have to renew the certification? The certification renews every 2 years, but you don't have to take an exam every 2 years. You just take the exam once, and then you just have to do your continuing education credit every year, 5 hours per year. Amy has asked the question, is what if you don't pass the test the first time? Can you take it again? Yes. You can take the exam 3 times. If you fail the third time, then there is a fee of $199 to take it again. And there are study questions in the book at the end of each chapter, which really help you in that process and help prep you for the exam. So another question from Gayla, with any discounts for companies and with more than one person to get certified? Yes, we do group discounts for companies that have more than one employee, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've done even larger groups. So what I would suggest is if you reach out to Shay after their webcast, he can help you in providing you that information. I believe, someone else that asked a question again about, how does this compare to other certifications? I've already kind of, answered that in regards to the comprehensiveness, the breadth, the reach, but we're happy to provide that, that webcast, to anyone listening to listen to it again. And we're going to be launching some other higher levels of the certification later this year. So there's going to be kind of a path to kind of a director level within the corporate wellness space. So there's going to be management and director levels, and then there's going to be a global wellness certification we'll be offering towards the end of the year. So different levels to really show the different designations and where you've gotten. So please feel free to reach out to us for any questions that you have, any way we can help you. I definitely encourage you, to learn more, to get specialized more in this area. It's an area that, for those of you that are in it, it's not something that you can just wake up one day and watch a video or one PowerPoint and then go into this space. It's very niche, and it takes a lot of education to really understand what to do right. You can do a lot of things wrong. The hardest part is learning what to do right. One last question coming in from Amy is, if you decide to take the online certification, how long does it take? I believe it's about 12 hours of content online, and then you've got the book. So it's technically about a 30 to 40 hour course. And, some people can finish it probably fast. I mean, there might be some people who can go through it in, 15 hours because they're a very fast reader. I read extremely fast and retain content, but there are some people that read slow, and for those people, it might be about 40, 50 hours, depending on your level of speed. So any other questions? I appreciate everyone joining us. It's going to end our webcast for the day. And as I said, please feel free to email us at info@wellnessassociation.com or call us at 561-790-1176. Thank you, everyone, and have a great week. Take care.